One of my absolute favorite things that I found in Genoa are these buildings, which are built out of alternating gray and white striped stone and are apparently special to Genoa. This aesthetic is special to Genoa. It comes from a Byzantine and Roman technique in which they use alternating layers of brick and stone to create more strength in the structure. And it was used here to signal nobility and wealth. The most famous example of it is the Cathedral of San Lorenzo, but you can see it in buildings all over the historic center and even in some buildings that are not this alternating stripes motif. They will sometimes still have details of it in arches. For example, here in this brick building, they have the alternating stones in the arches over the windows. Here is a little building in the historic center. On the ground floor was one of the cafes that I went to really frequently while I was there. And I loved this building not only for the stripes, but the entire little building is so beautiful. It's so tiny and narrow, first of all, and then it has this beautiful little sacred shrine over the first floor, and just above the sacred shrine is a little row of arch details in the stone, which is stunning. My absolute favorite building in the historic center is this one here that has the banded walls at the bottom, and the shape of the windows with the sort of three scallop arch is stunning. And then you can even see what looks like a little empty sacred niche, they call them, the little shrines, but I don't see a sculpture in it, so I don't know what the deal is with that. Up at the very, very top, even under the arches, you can see more of the striping. Also in the historic center, this small church, which I just loved, it is standing sort of in the middle of a piazza, and first of all, it's just a beautiful little church. The symmetry is always lovely, and it had a rainbow peace flag over the door, which I think is perfect. They continue to use the stripe pattern on buildings. On some later buildings, it's actually painted on, and it's often like a red and sort of burnt ochre yellow alternating stripes. Little church in the historic center, which is obviously not a new building, it's also a very old building, and it does have striping in these columns, but it's not the gray and white, and so I don't know if there is some significance to using different colors. Another place that I saw some of the stripy architecture was in cemeteries. I visited 2 cemeteries while I was in Italy, and that is a separate video. But you can see here in this little mausoleum the stripy pattern, and this one as well, and here in the monumental cemetery in Genoa. So you can see that it's really, really prevalent and absolutely stunning. And I hope you enjoyed exploring this little detail with me.